Oh, pick up milk. That was yesterday. Write Mary a birthday card. What? Her birthday was a month ago. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Oh no, I missed the doctor's appointment. What was the name of that garden fertilizer I wanted? I can't find it. Hello survivors, hi family and friends. This is Roy from Bootsy Sweetheart's Guide to Life with other disappointing experiences. Do you have sheets of paper flying all about and forget what they're for, forget when you had to do something? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to write something down in a notebook? This is a mini compo book, very useful. Let's get rid of these. Well, that didn't work. Yeah. Fall back on an old-fashioned notebook. But why let it look like this when you can have it look like this? This video is about covering a mini compo book. Well, I think we'll entitle this the Bootsy blooper video. That was not the best editing I've done. And never use green objects when you're videoing on a green screen. But seriously, this video is about taking something as plain as a mini compo book and turning it into something that's a little bit more elegant, and a cover that you can take off and put on another mini book when it fills up with pockets on front cover and back cover for index cards, business cards, rather, gift cards, whatever you'd like to save, and maybe a $10 bill or something inside. This is a prototype video. There were no plans made for this. This was a go as you go, create as you go, rough designing. This will be the precursor of a more formalized version, but I thought it was important to show how I think about things and the way I come up with designs and patterns. So I hope you enjoy and get a couple of giggles out of my bloopers. And there are a few. Thank you. So as I said, the plan for this is to make a cover, and I'm going to include a cover that comes off so that when this book fills up, you put this aside, get a new one, and you have the same cover for as long as you need it. And I want to put like a pocket inside, so if you'd like to collect business cards and give cards out, or put a charge card or a gift card in, you can do that. I found some nice fabric. It's very, very pretty. And if you had seen the video prior to this one, you'd see that I had made these crochet flowers. And you're not going to believe it, but I threaded a needle and was able to sew on these tiny, tiny beads. Maybe I'm getting into the miniature stage. Well, I'm losing height as I've gotten older, so. All right. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is measure up the book. It's on here, but I don't trust it. It's 4 1/4 inches this way, and 3 1/4. No, it's 4 1/2 this way, 3 1/4 this way times 2. But there's a certain amount of thickness. So what I'm going to do is leave myself a little bit of wiggle room and cut the fabric bigger. And I'm going to back it with some scrap interfacing that I have, just to make the book cover firmer and easier to take on and off. So since there's going to be some embroidery on this, machine embroidery, not a lot, but no matter what you do, you need to have a backing of the interfacing. And to stabilize the embroidery. So I cut a piece that was a little bit bigger. This is 6 by 9, and remember the book is 4.5 by 3.25. And rather than depend on measurements, I already, just like a dressmaker would, I'm fitting the cover to the book. So to see how generous the fabric is, we can certainly at some point before we put the thing together, we can trim off all the excess if we need to. Now what I'm going to do is try to get the inside outline of the book on the fabric just by hand pressing like we did just now. See, finger pressing. But I'm going to hit it with an iron so I get some sharp creases. This to me is a little easier than fussing with the ruler. And again, we will square it up when the embroidery is done. So I'm just going to hit it with a hot iron. I cut the interfacing to the exact measurements of the book, and that'll help guide me as to placement. So now I have what should be the book cover that will fit pretty well. See? We'll have a little bit of wiggle room so that you can put things in the inside pockets. And now what I need to do is find the middle of the interfacing. I'll just fold it in half and press that to the inside, matching the center crease. This is an iron-on interfacing, so I'm centering it. May not look it, but it's a little crooked on the screen, but it is centered. And that's going to be the guide for where I place pockets and sleeves and any embroidery. You see, it's not even because I've done it I've measured it up to the book. I'm not depending on something in a 1/4 inch. So all you engineers out there, make sure you decide where you want the embroidery to go. It's so easy to put it on the back. And the other mistake I've made is I put it on the back and put it on the front as well, but they were upside down, opposing each other. All right, so enough chitter-chatter. What I'm going to do now is, with a marker, I'm going to have these flowers sit on top of, that's not one I've done, sit on top of a stem. So I'm going to go to the machine, open this up. Well, let me draw the lines first. So let's say the placement lines are going to be, now here's the center. So I don't want to be too close to the center. And I can see that, I don't know if you can see that, I should mark it. This pen is a Frixion. As soon as you hit it with an iron, or you can actually erase it and it doesn't show anymore, but I can see the center crease. So I'm keeping the flowers inside the center crease. So let me put one up there, one over there, and maybe one there. So I'm going to draw lines here, here, and here, and just run a straight line of zigzagging. I can't see where the lines are, sorry. I should use a darker green. So we're going to get a line of stitches there, a line of stitches here, move that over a little, zigzag stitches, and where was the other one? Well, let me just, oh, here it is. Let me just divide this in half, put that up there, put that towards the top so we'll have them offset. Perfect. And now I'll zigzag. So back from the sewing machine, here are my 3 lines of stem stitches, just simple zigzag. I left them kind of open because I love the fabric and you can see through the back. And I found a little leaf motif on the trim as you sew on the machine. So we are here, and now comes the decision, do we sew the flowers on, or do we glue them on, or do we glue and sew them on? And my decision is to glue them on. I decided to use hot glue. It's durable, flexible, really strong, and this cover will get a lot of wear and tear, so you want to make sure nothing's going to fall off. So the flowers now are glued on, really sturdy. Can't get them loose at all. Oh, I wanted to show you something. These are these, I mean, I'm sure many people know about them, but these are the Frixion, fabric pens Frixion. Well, they're not just for fabric, but I use them for fabric. I switched to orange so you can see them. And all I have to do, magic, hit it with an iron. They're gone. The marks are gone. They are gone. So these come in very handy for what I do, the kinds of things that I do. So now that we're done with this, what I needed to find out was now for real what the exact dimensions are for the book. And if you remember, I had cut out the interfacing at the exact size of the book. So I'm going to use the interfacing, the very edge, as my stitch line. I'm going to forget about all this outside for now. We can trim that off later. So I drew dots on each corner, and they passed through to the other side so I could draw guidelines where I'm putting the cover. I did a lot of prep work on this. This is for the flap inside that holds the cover on. So this is what you're going to see inside the book. So you notice I only need one finished edge. The rest of the edges, all other 3 edges, will go in the seam allowance. They'll be sealed up with the seam. If I double it over, I have it finished inside and out. So that's exactly what I did. I doubled over, I doubled over the fabric to the right dimensions, just a scooch smaller, well, a scooch bigger, a 1/4 inch seam allowance is what I'm going to use. Let me get this out here so you can see. You see, so the seam allowance, the stitching line will be here, And this will be finished, which is great because we don't want any stitches coming loose if this gets used heavily. But I'm going to have a pocket inside. This is what it looks like. This is the actual one. I took a row line of stitches. This was the fold. I opened it up, and now I have two finished edges and two raw edges. And if you see how this works, if I put it like this on the cover, I have a finished edge here and a finished edge there. I don't have any worries about seam bindings or anything else, and it'll be really firm. But the logistics come when, what did I do with the other piece? Here it is. The logistic comes now. How do we put this all together? Fibber McGee. So the cover's going to be here. Then the pocket is going to be the first thing you see when you open the book. So that means that has to be closest to the cover. And what I'm doing here, oh, let me get the book out of the way, that would help. What I'm doing here is leaving a 1/4 of an inch. It's kind of hard to see. Well, that's a little better. You can see the orange line. And here this is in just a little bit over the line. Well, a 1/4 of an inch, never mind a little bit. 1/4 of an inch here and a 1/4 of an inch here. Make sure it's square. Now I'm going to take the sleeve piece and match that up to the orange line. So it's a 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And here's where we pin. Let me take a better pin. That pin is giving me a little bit of a hard time. So we're going to pin here, and we're going to pin here. I don't think I need to pin anymore. So now when we open it up and go to the other side, this will be the sleeve that goes over the cover, and this will be the pocket. Put a line of stitches here, and you'll see why when we open it up. Well, folks, best laid schemes. So I've done a little bit of work, and it seems when you're making a video you have to hit record. Let me show you where we are. So I did sew all along the intersection of the interfacing in the fabric, and reaching into the trash, I trimmed off all that excess. I just hacked it off, and I decided there may be an issue where the spine of the book, put things right side up here, where the spine of the book meets the cover. I don't want to have just a teeny bit of fabric here. So I'm going to try to see what this is like if I leave the top and the bottom with a little more fabric. Now I'm going to turn this inside out, right side out. So far, so good. It's a lot of fabric here. A lot of fabric. Okay, so see, we've got a pocket. Roy, don't get too cocky here. Okay. Well, this is fun. If you haven't tried just winging it, sometimes it's fun. You got to have a little extra material. little extra material, little extra fabric. Mistakes can take up, you don't want to use anything sharper than this. Mistakes can take up a lot of fabric. If you use anything sharper than this, is that always that chance you're going to poke through the seam, and that you don't want to do if you can help it. This is not as sharp as I'd like, this seam, this intersection, this corner, but we'll see. Okie dokie, look at that. This is the inside, fold it over. There's the outside. Let me get everything out of the way here. Ooh, little baby tag. Okay, now for the test. So the front cover goes in here. It's probably a snug fit, and you want it to be kind of snug. You don't want it to slip off. And it's going to be a little tough because I have that extra fabric in there. Okay. Make sure it goes all the way in. Could go a little more. A little bit more. Push it in, push it in, push it in, push it in. Now I'm going to need a closure of some kind. I haven't decided on what to do about the closure. Oops. It's a little crooked. You know what? I'm going to have to trim that off. I'm going to have to trim that fabric off. There's just too much, I can feel it here. But here it is so far. Yeah, it's too much fabric here. I can feel it. Yeah. What do you think? And I'll have a closure of some kind. So now we have a book that can be replaced, and a book cover we can keep. And I wish I could find my little card that I had in there. So anyway, there's a pocket here where you can put some, and there's also, you know, always you can stick another $10 bill in here. Well, I hope you like this experiment. This is also my challenge for Katiri's Crafty. Oh, I'm going to get it wrong. But she had a button challenge. This is my entry to the button challenge. Hope you liked it. If you like this sort of thing, come back. If you want to see me plod along and yes, he definitely needs a closure. It'll get better as it ages. We'll do a little adjusting off screen. So try something like this. It's kind of fun. It really works good, really well on the large compo books. I have a video on that too. So if you like this sort of thing, please come back. Please share with people that might be interested. And until the next time, stay well, stay safe, stay smart, stay healthy, and bye for now.